Well, I just want to say thank you to all of you for joining us today for Bring Me Back to Life, the Women's Wellness Power Hour. It's really exciting to see you all, and so much fun. We've been working on this event for a couple of weeks now, and to finally have it happening is really great. So we're just gonna get started since the theme of this event is wellness, we figured we'd break it down into physical and mental. We're gonna start with our physical wellness portion with Annie Rasmussen. She is a personal trainer who lives in Mequon, Wisconsin. She works at Pure Fitness. If you want to follow her and all the amazing workouts and other healthy information that they have for people, you can go on Instagram to @PureFitnessWI. I follow and I love it. They just have a lot of really great workouts and recipes and just like all around wellness suggestions that are really great. And Annie is a native of Milwaukee. She has found her love of fitness through her love of volleyball. She played all competitively all through high school and then into college at the University of South Dakota. And she graduated last year with a degree in kinesiology and came back to Milwaukee to share her love of fitness with all of her training clients. And she's here to talk a little bit about physical wellness and lead us through some stretches, since we're all spending so much time sitting at our desks, just to kind of help loosen up our bodies during the day. So take it away, Annie.
There we go. Now I'm unmuted. Hi, everyone. Like Liz said, I'm Annie. And so what I'm going to go through today is kind of talk about why stretching is so important. Especially for those of you with a desk job. It's very, very high on the list of priorities. And then we're just going to talk a little bit about how to stretch correctly and then what stretches you can do right from your desk that'll take 5 minutes out of your day. So that's just kind of our outline of what we're going to go through today. So first, I want to just start by telling you guys like why stretching is so important. So desk jobs create a lot of tension in our joints, in our muscles, because we're sitting in that same position all day. They just kind of lock up, everything tightens up, and that's definitely not what we want, right? We want to be loose. We want to have a big range of motion. So that's why, especially for desk job people, it is extremely important to incorporate this into kind of your everyday routine. So what we like to tell our clients when we're talking about stretching the body is that it would be best if you have a warm-up, right? So that could just mean walking to the bathroom and back, right? Or even just taking a lap around your office or wherever you're at. That's going to be really beneficial in warming up your muscles a little bit, because if we don't do that, sometimes what can happen is we stretch the muscle too far, and things called muscle spindles start to fire. And what those do is when they turn on, they tighten up our muscles more actually. So that's just a little bit of the science for you guys, because that's what we like to specialize in. But that just kind of tells you it would be best if you do more active stretching or have a little bit of a warm up per se before you head into these stretches. Not that that's going to happen every time, but it's just something to keep in mind when you're thinking about stretching. The other important aspect we like to talk about when we go through stretching routines is how long you hold it, right? People often ask us like, well, how long should I be stretching for? How long for each one? And what we like to tell clients is 20 to 30 seconds. That's it. The research behind it, anything longer than 30 seconds, you're not actually getting more of a stretch. You're just holding what you got at that 30 seconds for a longer period of time. And so it's not actually going to benefit you more. So that's just something to keep in mind. The science says we only need to hold 30 seconds. So when you're stretching, it's all you got to do. Nice and easy. So all those things are kind of good things to have in the back of your head as we're going through these today. And whenever you want to incorporate them into your daily routine, it would be best to do that warm up and then just hold 20 to 30 seconds. So I'm going to go through 4 stretches today that target some of the problem areas we see a lot in clients that work desk jobs. And those problem areas are often low back pain, right? We sit in a desk all day. A lot of people complain, my low back hurts, right? So that's number one problem area. And then number 2, we see a lot of tightness in the upper body, right? From that workplace posture. We're all here all day, either working at computers, sitting in a chair. Even as I say that, I feel like I need to open up here now. So the first one, and you guys can feel free to participate with me as you go or just kind of watch, observe, but it's going to be 4 that you can do right from the chair you're sitting in. So this will be nice and easy. The first one we're going to do is work our neck and our lats, okay? So what you're going to do is just let your head tilt to the side, and you should feel a good stretch right down the side of your neck there. You can gently pull on your head to allow a little bit more of a stretch, and just nice and easy. We never want to push the range of motion to pain, okay? If you're getting a sharp pain, that's not what we want. It should just be a nice, easy stretch. So we're just gonna hold there about 20 to 30 seconds. So as I've been talking, if you've been holding, that's about 20 to 30 seconds, not anything crazy. So we're gonna stay with our head tilted there. And what I want you to do is just reach up above you with that same hand, and we're just gonna allow it to stretch all down through the side here. Again, what I don't want is us really pulling, trying to stretch and push that range of motion, but just nice, easy. We're gently tugging on those fingers. So as you guys hold, I'll be counting and kind of making sure. The importance of stretching our lats actually helps with that low back pain as well. It's gonna open up here, but it's also gonna help down there. So that's good. We'll head just to the other side just so everyone can even out here. I know I'm a person that needs both sides stretching. So again, we obviously didn't do a warm up today. It's not gonna hurt us if we're not pushing our range of motion. So we're just gonna nice and easy stretch 20 to 30 seconds here. Good, and now we're gonna do that reach over, stretching through the lat here. You might notice one side is tighter than the other. That's perfectly normal. We see that a lot. Everybody kind of has deficiencies from side to side in their body. So sorry if you hear a dog barking, that's my 6-month-old puppy that hears me talking and wants to hang out. All right, so that's kind of stretch number 1/2. Again, you can do that right from your desk, even if you're between 2 projects in a day and just have 2 seconds, nice and easy to do. All right, the second one we want to focus on is stretching the chest, right? Everything we do is in front of us, and these muscles constantly are working, they're constantly firing, and that's what causes this hunched over posture, right? So what we're gonna do is just stretch our chest by either reaching back in the chair behind you. If you have a wall, that'd be great as well. But we're just gonna reach behind and let our chest open up here, okay? So again, it kind of depends where you're at, what you have available. If you have a wall, you're just gonna place your hand on the wall like so and let your chest turn away. Okay, you should feel a good stretch through the front of that shoulder there. Again, don't push that range of motion too much to where you feel pain here, okay? Just should be a nice, easy opening up. So this one is really important for that workplace posture that all of us have from sitting at our computers. And that's good. We'll switch to the other side here. Again, either reach behind to that wall, behind on a chair, anything that you can grab where you feel like you're getting a nice gentle pull through here will be great. I definitely prefer this one on the wall versus on the chair. But again, it's whatever you have available and whatever is easiest for you in your day, because that's what we want to make sure is happening, is ease of stretching, right? It's one of the hardest things to work in. So we're going to hold a couple more seconds here. Again, holding longer than 30 seconds isn't going to hurt you, but if you only have a limited amount of time, that's perfect. And we can relax. All right, I got 2 more for you guys today. I'm kind of gonna back up my screen, angle it down a little bit more. So you're gonna be just sitting in your chair, right? And all I want you ladies to do here is bring that ankle up above on top of your knee here. Okay, so I'm crossed over. And all we're gonna do is gently pull this knee toward the opposite shoulder. Okay, so it's gonna look a little bit like this from this angle. you should feel a great stretch down in the glute here. This is another area of tightness that is really going to lead to that low back pain. We often see people with tight glutes from sitting in this position get a lot of lower back pain. So this is just going to help release some of that tension. Might feel really tight in here. I know this one's feeling really good on me today. But yeah, just a gentle pull to that opposite shoulder. If you need more of a stretch, walk your bottom toe out away from this hip. And good, we can switch legs. So I'll show you that kind of toe placement I'm talking about here, if I can get myself to back up enough. So if I'm crossed over here, I'm just walking that bottom foot out a little bit more toward that area. That's just gonna help pull more on my glute here. So this is a great one you can do at any time seated from your chair, allowing you to open up your glutes a little bit that often get really tight from that workplace posture. Couple more seconds here, and then we'll switch to our last stretch. And good. All right, so the last one, again, is gonna focus on lower body. So this one, you can do seated. I definitely prefer standing up, so I'm gonna show you guys standing up, but all you need is your chair, and we're gonna stretch our hamstrings. So what I'm doing is I'm standing in front of my chair, I'm reaching my leg out in front of me, okay? And varying heights will give you different stretches. So if you feel like you're here and this is really easy, bring it up to the top here. Feel a little bit more of a stretch in that back, okay? If you feel like this is still too easy, I'm turning toward that hip, okay? That's up. I'll show you a little bit more of this angle here. So I'm here, I'm turning into my hip to get more of a stretch through that hamstring. So the reason I like this hamstring stretch over a standing, touching your toe stretch is because we still get that low back bending or that bending up through here. Okay, this one allows us to keep good posture and stretch just the hamstrings. Switch if you have it here. The other option is to be seated, okay? And all we're gonna do is reach that foot out in front of us and gently reach toward our toe. My toe is flexed upward, and all I'm doing is nice and easy reaching down toward it. Some of you might feel more of a stretch through your calf, and that's perfectly okay. We always say the body's gonna stretch what it needs to, and if your calf is tight, then that's perfectly fine that that's more of the stretch you're getting. If you did the other leg, you can go ahead and relax. But that's all the 4 stretches I have for you today. So those are gonna target 4 different areas of your body that are gonna help with some of that chest tightness, some of that lower back and hip tightness that we get a lot from sitting. Again, these would be great if every time you get a bathroom break, you just do one of those stretches. You take your walk to the bathroom, come back, do your stretch, and you're good to go. So right now I kind of want to open it up to any questions you guys have about anything physical or body-wise or stretching, kind of whatever you guys are wondering about. I know I went through a lot. Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. If you have any questions, feel free to message us on Instagram or yeah, any way you can contact me through Liz, that'd be great. But yeah, go ahead and give us a follow on Instagram. We give out a lot of great content, and our blog has a lot of information about workplace recovery and things you can do to help wellness after your workplace job. So that's all connected through our Instagram, and you can see that there. But thank you guys so much for sticking along for the ride.
Annie, I have a quick question for you. This
Yeah.
is Sue Klaus. I sit in Denver, the Denver area. When I'm working out, sometimes like they have you lift your arms, like at 90-degree angles where they want you to have like your shoulders, your arms, and elbows all in 90-degree angles. But there's some videos I'll do like where somebody will say, "Oh, like check to make sure you're at a 90-degree angle." And I did that once a few years ago, and it cricked my neck. So it's like it's. I think it's. My question is like, how careful and how do you avoid like those multiple muscles interacting with each other and doing not what you want them to do?
Yeah, kind of that like muscle guarding or whatever.
Yes, like
you
what's
wanna
the
refer
best way to
to it.
avoid something like that happening? Because I've just been super careful not to turn my head when I'm doing that now, you know? But I
Yeah,
don't know if
for
that's the right
sure.
answer either.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's always best to be with someone that really knows the body and knows how it moves. But if you're in a situation where you're kind of on your own in a group class where maybe somebody can't be looking at you pretty closely, just really watch your range of motion. And the more you can listen to your body, the better off you're going to be. So if you're getting to someplace and all of a sudden, okay, it's getting tighter, and now I'm turning and I feel it tight, then I would stop the range of motion where you are, okay? Everybody's body is gonna be different. Everybody's range of motion is different. So the more in tune you can be to how your body's feeling in that moment, the better off you're gonna be pushing it too far, right? So as soon as you get that burning sensation in your muscle, that's when we wanna stop, because that's when we're activating that muscle spindle, and that's when that kind of kink happens, if that kind of answers your question. I would love you guys to meet my puppy. He's a little bit crazy, but he just needs to nap right now. He's a German Shepherd though, so he's pretty cute. And as far as online classes, we can do online training. It would be kind of a Zoom like this. It'd be one-on-one, and I can give you a full workout. I would just either have Liz give you my contact information, or again, you can contact any of us through our Instagram. So yeah, that'd be awesome. Any other questions?
And you also have workouts on YouTube, right?
Yes, we have a whole library of free workouts on YouTube, from upper body, lower body, core, cardio, full body, literally anything you can imagine. We have a workout on there. We even have a workplace recovery video that we did on YouTube, and I believe on our Instagram TV, that is just a full video of stretches and foam rolling kind of stuff you can do. So yeah, I have a lot of great free resources online, so you're welcome to check it out anytime.
Yeah, and I'll put your contact information in the chat.
Yes, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I'll grab my puppy for you guys, because everybody's messaging about it. Come here, buddy. Yeah.
There we go.
So here he is. Come here, buddy. Well, a little excited right now, wants to go outside, but this is him.
Aw.
Just excited to be here.
Ollie. So cute.
His name's Ollie.
Thanks for showing us him, and thank you for leading us
Of
through all
course.
those stretches, Annie. That was really great.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining.
All right, so we are going to move on to our next speaker. We have Alessandra Bortolusi. She is joining us from Italy, and she is going to be speaking on mental wellness and how it relates to productivity. A little bit about Alessandra. She is currently owner of her own coaching and leadership development consultancy business. Before that, she spent 22 years in the finance corporate environment, first in Mitsubishi Motors Europe BV, and for 20 years in Cargill Inc. She has occupied different roles, operating out of different countries, managing people and teams across multiple regions through global and regional transformation efforts, as well as operational excellence. Her corporate background allows in-depth understanding of the challenges leaders face in a volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, and global business environment, supporting the workforce, engaging talent while respecting ever tighter budgets and ever more ambitious efficiency targets. You can find Alessandra on LinkedIn, and I will put that in the chat as well. And she's got a really great presentation for us, and a poll question. So we'll have a little bit of interaction with this. So take it away. Thanks, Alessandra.
Thanks, Liz. So let me first share my screen. And get you back here. Okay, so you're all able to see it?
Yep, we're good.
Okay,
Yep, thanks.
good. Good. So happy to be here with you today to talk about mental well-being and the link with productivity. I'm sitting here in this empty room, empty walls behind me, but we're getting ready to move to a new home. So yeah, usually there's a little bit more life in my house, but that's what it is in this transition phase for now. So I don't know about you, but I have really enjoyed the stretching, and I actually need more of it, I think. And the body plays an important role in our mental well-being as well, and we'll get to that in a moment. We're a nice group today, so we want to allow for some interaction, and the way we're going to do that is through the chat mostly. So I'm going to check in with you throughout the presentation, asking you to put in a few words in the chat. So, and if we have time at the end, we can do some Q&A as well. If we don't get to that, or we don't get to your question, feel free to reach out to me directly afterwards. So let's try out the chat right away. So what brought you to call into this webinar today? What is there one word that you can put into the chat that kind of describes why you're here today? Better balance, overwhelm, encouragement. So that sounds in line with our need for mental and general well-being, right? Good. So the topic for today is, as we said, right, mental wellness and productivity. So what do you consider productivity? So again, enter a word in the chat, one word, couple of words, that kind of describes that for you. What is productivity for you? Doing stuff that matters, being efficient, getting things done, accomplishment, again, getting things done. Yep. So I look at productivity definitely, right, from the aspect of getting things done. But I also look at it more broadly as all those factors that ultimately contribute to our getting things done, like, for example, creativity. I used to think that I wasn't creative until I realized that actually creating an efficient Excel file or a good presentation requires creativity as well. So it's not just drawing or painting, which it is, right, is creative as well. Being present and notice what's happening, what is needed in any situation, I also consider being productive. Because what's lost when we're not present, not listening or not observing all the moving parts to a situation. Problem solving is another aspect of productivity, being productive by enforcing collaboration with others, by inspiring others to be productive. So it won't come as a surprise to you that many studies have shown a strong link between our well-being and productivity. And this is true for organizations as well as for the rest of our lives. When we're feeling down, either physically or mentally, our productivity levels decrease, which sometimes has us entered this vicious circle. We don't feel well, we see our productivity levels go down. This makes us judge ourselves or feel unfulfilled, which then again affects our well-being and so on. So it's important to take care of ourselves, our physical well-being through regular activity like the stretching we did earlier, but also and equally so our mental well-being, if we want to be productive and have fulfilled business and personal lives. So what jeopardizes our mental well-being? Since our well-being is crucial to our productivity and our health, our lives overall, it's what I'm going to focus on mostly today. So what jeopardizes our mental wellness? So the APA has a yearly survey conducted to research levels and impacts of stress. And this last survey was conducted online, of course, within the United States just last January. And 84% of 2,000 adults that were part of this survey, 84% indicate that they have feelings related to prolonged periods of stress. That's quite a lot. So, and the main feelings are feelings of anxiety, sadness, anger. The main three sources of stress were indicated to be future of the nation, the pandemic, not a surprise there, and political unrest. And all those big reasons are summed to sources of stress from daily life: work, family, money, illness. And though they report similar average stress levels between men and women, women are more likely than men to report that their stress levels are increasing. And they're also more likely than men to report physical and emotional systems of stress. Gallup has performed a study interviewing more than 7,000 employees, and found that 23% of employees reported feeling burnout at work. And an additional 44% reported feeling burnt out sometimes. Now that makes for a total of 67% of employees feeling burnout at some point. And generally, people seem to have a common kind of stereotype for who is prone to burnout. So people who don't know how to manage their time, or who are just easily overwhelmed, or more sensitive than others. But actually, this study shows that the 5 main causes of burnout are organizational ones. Unfair treatment at work. So this can include bias or favoritism or unfair compensation, mistreatment by a coworker happens as well, unfortunately. Unmanageable workload. And even engaged, high-performing people can quickly shift from being very optimistic to being kind of hopeless as they drown in unmanageable workload. Lack of role clarity. So when accountability and expectations are moving targets, we can become exhausted just trying to kind of figure out what people really want from us. Lack of support and communication from the manager. A negligent or confrontational manager kind of leaves employees feeling uninformed, alone, on the defensive. And then last but not least, unreasonable time pressure. So unreasonable deadlines and pressure can create, again, this downward spiral. Burnout, which clearly means we're not well, has a huge impact on productivity, for obvious reasons, and it has a huge impact on organizations, the cost of sick leave, turnover, lower performance. And the effects of burnout don't stop at the office door, right? So we all know that stress is bad for us. So how can we create adjustments to our lifestyle, but mostly to our beliefs and way of thinking, to increase our mental wellness? Because while the main causes of burnout are organizational ones, it's still up to every single one of us to recognize what's happening and to do something about it. So what jeopardizes our mental well-being? Before we move on, this is kind of the moment of the poll we were mentioning before. So Denise, if you can launch the poll. And the question, what are the sources of stress that mostly jeopardize your mental well-being? And if you're like all of us, you can choose more than one. So go ahead and answer the poll.
We'll give it probably 10 more seconds or so. We're about halfway there. You can select multiple options. All right, I'm going to end the polling and share the results.
So we are we're kind of almost evenly spread all over the place, which is not really a surprise. Worrying about something, not having much or any control over the outcome of a situation. And as I said, so we are kind of all over the place, and I guess most of us have maybe also chosen more than one, which is again not a surprise. So we know what takes our well-being away. We have plenty of examples of that. But what generates our well-being, and specifically our mental well-being? So taking steps to look after your well-being can help you deal with this pressure and reduce the impact that stress has on your life. And there are tools and approaches we can learn to strengthen our resilience. So I cannot underline this enough. Dealing with stress and avoid getting to too high stress levels is something we can learn. So it's not a natural ability that if you don't have it, oh my God, you won't ever have it. No, we can learn it. And external circumstances, those situations that trigger your stress, those unfortunately will never go away. There will always be new things that pop up, unexpected things. But what we can do is learn to deal with them in different ways. We can learn to take care of ourselves. And before you go there, self-care is not about being selfish. It's about putting on your own oxygen mask first before helping others. It's about having integrity, really. And when you take good care of yourself, you then create the time and the space and the energy to give to others because you want to. And you do so from a place of service and a place of love, not because of habit or guilt or obligation. And of course, again, not just at home, right? So let us be an example for our co-workers instead of being the last to leave and pass on the message that overworking is kind of what makes us successful. Know thyself. So the number of hours you can work without it affecting your health, the levels of stress you can deal with without it affecting the quality of your life, how many hours of sleep you need to wake up rested, and so on. You need to know what that looks like for you and only you. There's no point in comparing yourself with others. First of all, what you see on the outside when you look at others is mostly probably not the full story. And second, so what if others work 15 hours a day and are happy and healthy and they can do 20 hours a day? If you can't, if it makes you unhealthy, it doesn't work. So it needs to change. It needs to stop. And you're the only one who can decide to do that, who can decide to take care of yourself. You're the only one who can make that a priority, who can make the choices necessary to create that well-being in your life. So what or who is working against us? I mean, what are we still talking about? We all know stress is not good for us. We all know it affects the quality of our life, of our work, our relationships. It reduces productivity. So why are we not doing this consistently? What is stopping us from putting different routines in place? Who or what is working against us here? As we try and change our life, little or maybe even screaming big voices will show up in our head. And yes, we all hear those voices. We all have them. And they are showing up and they're going to try and hold you back. Those are our saboteurs. The strongest voice of all, the saboteur we all live with to a greater or lesser extent, is what we call the judge. That's the one saying, what's wrong with me? How could I have been so stupid? It's the inner critic that never misses an opportunity to attack us and to badger us. We all have a judge, again. And then we have some other, let's say, cooperative saboteurs that cooperate with the judge. And I've kind of spread them all over the screen. So the avoider, for example, tells you to just let it go instead of telling someone actually, that they might not want to hear. Or the stickler, the perfectionist who wants everything to be exactly right. The pleaser who tells us that to be a good person, I should put the needs of others above my own, and so on. So saboteurs are, strangely enough, not just bad voices. They have their function, they've had their function in our life. They try to protect us from failure, from judgment of other people, from fear. So let's go back to the chat for a moment. Which one or multiple of these voices, of these saboteurs, do you recognize? Enter them in the chat for us. Pleaser, hyper-rational, avoider, hyper-vigilant. So, and they're coming in and they're rolling in. So this again kind of shows you we all have those voices. So it's normal. It's not very nice, but it's normal. And these voices, as I said, have been quite productive. To stay on theme here, they might have helped us become high-performing businesswomen, for example. Now, the trick is not to be controlled by these voices and remain at choice. So we can hear the voice, and honestly, that's the first step. So create the space to actually hear them and notice what they're saying and say kind of, okay, I hear you. I know you're trying to protect me, but this is not what I need or want right now. What I want is, and you can fill in the blanks and control, therefore, the choices that you can make. So what to do then? We're now going to focus on a few small examples of how you can support yourself during the day to keep being aware and make the right choices for yourself towards creating well-being and therefore towards being more productive. So I indicated it a few seconds ago. So space between thoughts, space between reactions. What do I mean by that? According to neuroscience, mindfulness practices dampen the activity of our amygdala and increase the connections between the amygdala and our prefrontal cortex. And both of these parts of the brain help us to be less reactive to stresses and to recover better from stress when we experience it. So mindfulness, and there are many studies, can help relieve stress, even help treat heart disease, lower our blood pressure, reduce chronic pain, improve our sleep. Mindfulness just improves our mental health, our mental well-being. The body, we were talking about it before, and Annie was mentioning it as well. The body has wisdom. It knows things before even our mind does. So listen to your body often. And we'll do a quick check-in later as part of an exercise. So do a mindfulness body scan, connecting to your body, even for just a few seconds at a time. So like right now, right? You're sitting on the chair, feel your butt on your chair. Feel your feet on the ground. Your breath going in and out. And just that pause, that connection with the body for just a few seconds is a very effective way of interrupting and noticing the chatter of your mind, noticing those voices, those saboteurs we were talking about before. So connecting with the body helps create that space, which allows you to act instead of to react. It helps to become response-able. And how we focus our attention shapes the structure of our brain. So well-being comes out when we create connections in our lives, when we use mindfulness to help the brain achieve and maintain integration. Integration is at the heart of how we connect to each other in healthy ways, honoring each other's differences while keeping our lines of communication open. And integration enables us to be flexible and be free. With the connecting freedom of integration comes then a sense of vitality, of well-being. And without integration, we can become prisoners in our own behaviors, in our own anxiety, in our own depression. So if there's one thing you do for yourself, ideally first thing in the morning, before you look at your phone, before you think about emails, before anything else, is to sit quietly and do your mindfulness practice, 10, 15 minutes. And that's really, I would say, the biggest thing that, that benefits us. Now, a very natural, very normal thought process that we all do is making assumptions. It helps us judge situations. It helps us judge people. Can I trust this person? Is this situation safe? And we make hundreds of assumptions every day. And most of the time, we don't even realize it. And that's where it gets a little tricky. So if we make too many assumptions without checking in with facts, we risk making choices. We risk taking decisions based on the stories that we have built in our head. So, like a simple example, if I'm meeting with my manager and I see that she looks a bit grumpy, and I might assume that, okay, she got out of bed with the wrong foot this morning. And then I assume she is annoyed to start with, and I assume she will not want to hear what I'm struggling with on such important project. So I take the decision to not say anything and say, yes, everything's fine. And all of this happens in like 2 seconds. But what if my assumptions are incorrect? Maybe my boss was just preoccupied with her previous meeting. What if my project is actually top priority and she absolutely wants to know what is going on? So she may discover later with too much delay that, corrective action should have been taken. So will she trust me again with a significant project? So we need to be careful not to make assumptions on top of assumptions on top of another assumption and take decisions that are not based on fact, but on supposition. And this is also very much linked to our worries. Are our worries based on real things, on facts, or are we actually assuming things that are incremental to our worries? So checking in with yourself and asking yourself, what assumptions are you making? It's a simple question that can help you kind of take a step back and again, create some space between you and your thoughts. What questions can you ask to check in if your assumptions are correct? So that's another way to, again, become aware of what's going on up here. What do you say yes to and what do you say no to? So another awareness that you can create for yourself is to ask yourself these questions. Every time that an additional suggestion or event is, coming on top of your to-do list, even if potentially it's a fun or pleasurable one. What do you say yes to and what do you say no to? If you say yes to one thing, you most probably are saying no to something else. And if you say no to another thing, what are you saying yes to? So if you say yes to doing a favor for your colleague, for example, what do you need to say no to be able to do that? If you say no to 15 minutes mindfulness practice in the morning, what are you saying yes to? Are you saying yes to jumping into your emails straight away? Are you potentially saying yes to more anxiety, to more reaction instead of action? So if you ask yourself, what am I saying yes to? What am I saying no to? And the answer to that question gives you what you want, you're good to go. But if not, then again, you have created the opportunity to make a different choice. So stop as often as you can and ask yourself, what am I saying yes to? And what am I saying no to? And listen for what comes. So it's finally time for a brief exercise. And we're going to do this here together, but you can go back to this later by yourself, as many times as you want. So, okay, you're all comfortably sitting in your chairs. So close your eyes for a second and take a few deep breaths. So count to 4 on the in-breath through your nose, and count to 4 on the exhale through your mouth. And now check in with your mind. What thoughts are present right now? Just notice them, bring them into your awareness. Now take another deep breath and check in with your body. What do you feel? Is there tension somewhere? Just feel it. What does your body need? And now take another deep breath and check in with your emotions. What emotion is here now? And there may be more than one. And now take another deep breath and check in with your spirit, your soul. Notice the aliveness that is within you. What are you grateful for in this moment? Okay, so take another deep breath, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes, move your body a little bit, stretch out so you're fully back. So this is a very simple, quick, it took us 2 minutes maybe? Very quick check-in with yourself. And you know, when you check in with yourself, and you can do this multiple times a day, because again, it takes 2 minutes, it brings our state into awareness. So instead of plowing through the day head down, once you become aware of how we're doing, you can again make different choices. So over time, you will become quite good at checking in with yourself. You start doing it quite naturally, and you know it's quicker, more and more quicker every day. So as you can see, what is constantly coming back is putting yourself into the condition of making conscious choices. I wholeheartedly believe that being a choice is the most important thing we have. And if you can make conscious choices, you're setting yourself free. And well, what is more important than freedom in our lives? So last but not least, I want to briefly talk about asking for help. Asking for help is one of the things that seems to be quite difficult for many of us. We may label it as a weakness, that we should be able to do this on our own. But there's also another perspective to asking for help, because when someone asks us for help, we are ready to offer it, right? Why is it so much easier to offer help than to receive it? Brené Brown addresses this in one of her videos, and I put the link on the slide. She explains how when you're perfectly okay with offering help, but cannot ask help for yourself, deep down, you actually think less of the person who's asking and more of yourself offering the help. And I must admit, that was quite an eye-opener for me as well. Of course, I do not think less of people when I help them, or do I? Because if I think less of me when I need help, it's kind of a contradiction, right? It's either the one or the other. And people are there to help you. Like you, they feel good about helping others. And if you still don't feel comfortable asking people around you, your friends, family, or co-workers for help, ask a paid professional for help. You do not have to go at it alone. It's not making you more of a hero. I'm a coach, and I have my own coach, and it really helps me. So we're almost at the end of my time here together with you today. And today we have talked about mental wellness and how it significantly impacts our productivity and how stress takes away our well-being. But why is a particular event stressful for me and not stressful for you? So when an event happens, and an event is an event, and if we kind of put to the side for a second, let's say the really difficult things that of course can happen in life, right? But I'm kind of generalizing it more to the day-to-day stuff that happens to us. An event is an event. It's not good or bad until we interpret it, until we judge it as good or bad. And the way we then talk to ourselves about the event shapes how we feel about it. It generates excitement or anxiety. It generates happiness or sadness, enthusiasm or fear. And that is what we then act upon. We execute upon a behavior which creates an impact for ourselves and for our world. And this is how a neutral event can be stressful for you, but not for me, and vice versa. Which also means that if we can manage the self-talk, if we can manage those saboteurs, if we can manage that, we can manage our emotions and therefore our behaviors and the impact that we have. So it's really critical to create that mental space to recognize the self-talk, decide if it's working for us or if it's working against us. And if we can see that, we can choose to change it. And I just talked about impact right now, and impact on ourselves, impact on the world around us. And sometimes, especially when stress levels are high and we're driven by reactive tendencies, we don't realize that everything we do, even when we do nothing, impacts the systems we are part of. If I participate in a meeting and I don't say anything, I impact that group that is sitting around the table or sitting in the Zoom room. My energy impacts the energy in the room, whether I want it or not, whether I realize it or not. So becoming aware of our impact and having the desired and the needed impact, decide how we want to show up in this world, is important for us and for the world around us. Knowing the message we send and ensuring it is in alignment with who we really are and what we really want to send out into the world is what actually will support us. It will allow us to be in integrity with ourselves, feel fulfilled and create that state of well-being for ourselves and for the people around us. So as we manage our own productivity, we impact organizational productivity and our family's productivity and again, all the people around us. So let's do that as consciously as possible. So this is really the end of my presentation for you. And I want to leave you with this quote. do not let things that try to steal your peace rob you of your joy. Do not give them the permission to scare you into no performance. You have the responsibility for your well-being. You have the power of choice on how you talk to yourself, the assumptions you make, what you say yes to or no to, and if you allow yourself to receive help. And it's a lifelong journey with ups and downs for all of us, definitely, me included. So I hope that this was helpful for you. And if you want to go deeper in any of the topics that we discussed today, and we still have, well, maybe 1 or 2 minutes for a couple of questions. And otherwise, again, or how to help your teams increase their productivity, I'm happy to talk. So reach out to me. Thank you. I'll take away the presentation so I can see your faces on the screen.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My gosh, I feel amazing after that breathing exercise. Like, I feel like it just really relaxed me. I need to incorporate that into my everyday for sure. Wow.
Yeah, it's, as I said, it's a couple of minutes, but yeah, you get grounded. And that's the second you need to kind of notice, okay, I'm actually very overwhelmed right now and I need to do something, drink a glass of water. Sometimes I used to, as you said before, Liz, I work in corporate, and sometimes I used to go with my laptop, of course, without video, to the bathroom and back because there was no space between meetings, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's a choice we need to make, to say, okay, guys, I'll join you 2 minutes late and just breathe for a second.
Yeah, yeah. We did have one question during your presentation when you were discussing, like, finding your, like, knowing your limits. And so there, a question was posed, do you have suggestions for questions or methods of telling where the limit is, given that much of our lives are spent pushing the limit and achieving more?
Well, that's a very tricky question. So first of all, the limit is different for all of us, right? And that's why I don't have the answer black and white. But what I can tell you out of experience is that if you check in with yourself, you know how close you are to that limit and you know you're pushing it. So yeah, and the only other thing I can say is we all have a limit. And when you push it and you go over it, it's going to take you a long time before you can get back. So be careful with reaching that limit.
Yeah.
So that's why checking in with yourself and really spending some time on that, sometimes journaling can help as well, is you have to realize, and it's kind of what we were saying before, if you need 7 hours or 8 hours of sleep, that's what you need to be healthy. If you need some exercise, you have to make some time for it, because again, we are not robots, and that limit really exists. And I can tell you from experience that once you reach it, yeah, it's a hard job to come back from it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think probably everyone on this call is familiar with that.
Yeah.
Well, it's 1 o'clock, so I will wrap this up, but I do want to say thank you again to Alessandra and Annie. This was amazing. I really enjoyed this presentation. I hope that everyone else on this call did as well. I'm so glad we were able to record it so that it will be out there on the internet for others to enjoy. So I'm Liz Sumner. I'm a 2006 graduate of the evening program at Chicago Booth. I would just want to say thank you to Vicki Leo, who also really helped a lot with organizing this, and also Team Wellness, Danielle, Christina, Melissa, Clara, Gabrielle, Susanna. This was really great, really fun to put this together with all of you. And yeah, I mean, I hope you all have a great day. And thank you so much again, Alessandra and Annie. This was really great.
Thank you all. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.